Hello, good afternoon. Today is 4th December 2020, uh, Friday, and this is a video about indemnities. Spain is the only country in the world that pays indemnities, whether it is a collective bargaining agreement of 60 days per year worked accrued until 5 years maximum, or now with new legislation, but this socialist government has put this 30 days or 1 year maximum indemnity in case the company goes bankrupt. So this is excellent news for companies, because before we had companies that were closing because workers wanted to get the indemnities of 5 years wages. You can imagine a worker that has been working under the CBA, or let's say ship agents, for example in Bilbao, for about 22 years average seniority, and then this worker can claim 5 years indemnity, which is around 200,000 euros. Of course, the judges grant these indemnities because the judges are in the socialist side. They are controlled by the Ministry of Madrid, and therefore this is a socialist government. So all the sentences go to the workers. None of the sentences go to the employers. And this is very interesting, because this throughout the history has provided that all my competitors have been eliminated all of the times because of the workers. The workers say that it is because of the competitors, owners going to retirement and blah blah blah. That is not true. The question is, you cannot defend this in a trial, because if you do that, of course you are in the dark side. So if you go to the dark side, you know what you get: dark reply. And therefore we have to be in the white side. This is the white side. You must know where you are going to work, if it is going to last long or not. If you have workers that have average 25 years experience in your company, and they have the, let's say, the premium of 5 years, 200,000 euros indemnity, then of course they are going to try to sink the company as fast as possible. And of course it is going to be in coronavirus, because you cannot argue the coronavirus in order to do that. And it is very interesting how my competitors are all closing and closing and closing. And just, I don't have to do a thing to see how they close their business, because the judges will help me in that respect. Because if you just watch how the dark side reacts, it is very interesting. Of course, how can you ask justice with a 5% indicator than to work with 100% like we are in the white side? Yes. So this is again the war. It is a war of survival, and it is going to be 1 year indemnity now from 31st of January. They say that because you cannot fire workers before 31st of January, so they can really sink the companies because these indemnities. It's really funny how European Union has been unable to supply this one legislation for indemnities. You see, it's so funny to see how this vaccine is going to be earlier in Russia and in UK, because in reality Europe is a disaster, not only for the vaccine, not only for the health, but also for the indemnities of the worker. There is not one union, one policy. Of course, the most interesting policy is not to talk about the dark side. So if we talk about the dark side, how much is my indemnity, how many years accrued rights, is it 5 years maximum that my collective bargaining agreement allows me, is it 200,000? So if we talk about dark side, we become dark. Yes, you Z generation, you millennial, if you listen someone talking about the dark, get out, run away, let's talk the white side. Now, how is the white side? I can tell you that as consul of Finland, I have seen that there is very little unemployment. The coronavirus has not impacted in the gross domestic product going down. Why? Because people, companies were prepared. How can you be prepared? It's very simple. Now, if we have now a reduce in sales and loss in the companies don't have to pay indemnities to the workers because they don't have money. It's very simple. They spend everything in research development, in employing more people. So how is the most socially corporate responsible way, most transparent way to solve this solution? It is to train these excess workers of this company into a new technology, for example, into new areas of need, like we need electricians, we need, in the maritime, for example, we don't have 3 million Spanish seafarers. Why we pay unemployment and the minimum wages for not working and going into depression in the dark side, sending everybody to the dark side whilst there is employment in the white side. This is how judges have to typify. Is it really psychological problems for not working, not providing wealth to the society? Is it right? Well, as I say again and again and again and again, we always go back to the justice. But if the justice is in the dark side, then it is a huge problem. So now, then this Finnish solution, a Nordic solution, is very good, because if companies now for coronavirus, they start losing these sales, for example, the restaurants, the retail and the industry, because tax is not because coronavirus, it's because the bloody tax. There is not one harmony tax, 5% in Europe. No, it is 5 institutions charging 5 different tax bureaucracy and asking fines and hiding fines, inquisition, social security, hiding everything. They hide, they hide, they hide. And if you try to clarify this light, then you have the dark justice, boom, eliminating any possibilities of Z generation and millennials knowing, hey, mom, dad, please find out about this. What is this video? Is it true that in other countries, companies having reduced sales, having losses, that in Spain is about 30% of companies going losses? So can they recycle the workers? Because we need digital platforms, we need seafarers, we need electricians, we need plumbers, we need all kinds of new marketing, we need a huge amount of new community managers, all kinds of digital works, artificial intelligence, accountants, mathematicians. Yes, but then can we simplify the system? Well, in these last 50 years in Spain, no one has simplified the system. And this is a huge problem, like anti-bullying, because if they don't simplify these unemployment indemnities, then workers just go to the office to see how can I sink this company and get my 200,000. Yes, because the boss is going to retire. And yes, and then this boss is about 54, 55. Let's see how we can kill this company. And this has happened in the last 50 years, because if it was not Franco stealing the fleet of my great-grandfather, it was always either the dark side of the justice, also it was the labor unions. There is always one that would take away this opportunity cost. And this is very important to find out. If a company is going to have a tomb, we must know where it is, so we never go there. And this tomb is the greatest one in the history of Spain, because 75% of the companies will go bust. This is great news for Amazon. This is great news for us disruptors. This is great news, so you know what is going on, you son and daughter of a worker that is asking these 200,000 euros. It is not the first time. It is like last 60 years, same history, same history. I have seen so many companies go bankrupt, because when you have problems, workers, not solution workers, you cannot fire them. It's very simple. And you have to keep on living with them. Very simple. And if you go to the justice, how can you defend that position if you have a 5% efficiency in the justice? Why? Because the sentence is 7 years. So the sentence has to be, hello, Alexa, can I have a sentence for this? Thank you, bye. Yes, cost 0, time 0, then company survives. Yes, chapter 11, chapter 15 also is another thing that indemnities will have to clarify. It's like going to intensive care unit, and then suddenly everybody that goes to intensive care unit and goes to the justice with a chapter 11, chapter 15, either bankruptcy or solution of suppliers, debt, restructuring and all this, then you can imagine that everybody that went to intensive care in a company, then all of them were dead. Of course, then everybody gets the indemnity. You see? So now the question is this indemnity going to be 5 years wage? The thumb of all the Spanish companies going bankrupt? Or is it going to be 1 year indemnity? Yes, because the thumb that instead of being, for example, let's say 200,000 per workers, it is 50,000 per worker. Well, you see, the whole is not so big. It's smaller. So if you learn where it is, perhaps we can get some skis so companies don't fall. One way of a ski, it would be restructuring the bankruptcy proceedings. So it is, Alexa, I have a debt and that, I need to reduce the wages, I need to improve the working hours of the company 24/7, like you, Alexa. Yes, I can call you in town. Can I, Alexa? Yes, okay. Will you demand for something? Will you go to the dark side for something? No, thank you, Alexa. Oh, well, thank you very much, Alexa. Bye. Okay, yeah, that's what the Spanish companies need. And that's how the indemnity is so important, because it is 75% less cost of the size of the tomb. If you reduce this tomb, boom, 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 and you avoid companies going there. Now, how I explained, chapter 11, chapter 15, please don't ask the judges to work in this because they are 5% efficiency. So we never must talk and negotiate and be with the dark side. Avoid the dark side. Never see the dark side again. When you see the dark side, you must realize that it's like dividing your value. Now, in this case, if you go there, by just going there, if you are worth, I am worth 100. If I talk with someone that is worth 5% efficiency, I become 5. So don't go there. It's a virus. Yeah. So please avoid it. I hope you have liked this video. I have plenty other ways to improve this, because that's why I like to study how to make all the Spanish companies survive and make employment and bring intrinsic value and the solutions for you, Z and millennials. Because we, the business persons, we do have something to provide. Yes, we're not here just for making money. You must realize that we are here because we like it. And we have to suffer a lot of times not being able to have just one single day leave in 30 days. But we are very positive because we are in the real center of the business economics in the world. And that's one of the reasons why Spain must react and adjust so fast all these. We have other situations like the training that Finland has for students. We have other situations that we have like the evaluations of the students, because we can evaluate them in the office. I always say, please, I don't like really much your certificates and blah, blah, blah. Just Monday we start working, and let's see how we do this marathon. And let's first eliminate the risk, then talk about opportunity cost, and then do it in the less time possible, and be positive to generate more employment. Because we are not here to stay just for our lives, but we are here to generate wealth for our country. And this is very important. And well, I hope that this message is very clear for all of you, because if you start talking the dark side, then your value will be 5%. If you talk justice, it will be 25%. If you talk about any public institution, or if you talk, no, your value has to increase. And that's very important, that in order to your value to increase, you have to surround yourself and learn yourself and teach yourself with people that really provide value. And this video is really in that side. So if we then reduce the tomb, the size of this like they have done in Finland, for example, that there is no indemnity at all. The state takes care of 2 years unemployment benefits for the workers, and in those 2 years, workers are recycled because we need them. There's a huge amount of new professions that we don't have workers, and we are ready to pay for them. And the next thing that we have to do after we have avoided this dump and closed it, and everybody knows where it is, because there will be sectors that will disappear, it's very clear. And so once this is done, then we have to analyze how we can improve the quality of those plus or minus that are providing intrinsic value and wealth and employment to you and to your house and to your family. And the only way to do this is to have simple norms. We cannot have income tax different in one country to another. We cannot have VAT here in Canary Islands is 7, here in Peninsula is 21. This is crazy. And who invented VAT? Okay, we have to dismiss that person. Okay, VAT is cash. Companies don't make profits. Companies make cash. I know that universities did not explain this to you, but dear workers, please find out that we are in business to generate cash flow. Because it's like blood. If we don't have blood, then okay, one thing is how fast we do 100 meters. It is very nice to know the profit, the beta, and all these blah, 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 university excuses to make you go to university and study things that are really senseless. Yes, they will teach you a lot of things that really have no meaning, because someone has to be a teacher and then someone has to have a university. But we, the business persons, we have the cash flow. And when you invented the VAT, you really went a snipper, 21% of cash, and generated some rules, and then fines, and then a Department of Tax Administration. No, we can fire those all. We don't need them. Thank you very much indeed. So this VAT 21% is cash. And you politician, you don't care about the money and the wealth and the intrinsic value generation to the welfare of your country, yes, but we fighters, business persons, we have to know and explain to you, cash is the reason for a business. If we generate cash, we can grow. If we don't generate cash, we are not growing. So there is no point. Now, you say profit, piss off. I don't care about profit. Yeah, it's cash. Okay. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Bye.